I don't know if that's a strikeout or a home run. What the heck do we even call that?
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, Omar Bruno, we're just 7 days away from the start of the NHL season. Wait, whose number are we using today? Great, because you know I love Brady Tkachuk, but I can't really support the Senators, standing where I stand. So since we're a week away, let's get right into this and bring in our guy, Craig Button, to play our latest game to get us set for the season, one big question. And Craig, earlier in the week we talked Oilers. So let's head south on the tube and talk some Flames. Craig, is this a season for a Jonathan Huberdeau resurgence? Or is this just who he is?
Yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau, after his first season with the Calgary Flames, you could chalk it up to, okay, he's trying to adjust to a new conference, a new style of play. And then when he followed it up with his second season that was very similar to his first season, I think that the answer is more that this is what he is. And certainly Jonathan Huberdeau has had chances, and he doesn't finish at the same rate that he did in that 115-point season, but you can't expect him to finish at that rate. I think that if Jonathan Huberdeau, where the team finds itself in a rebuilding phase, if he can find himself near the 60-65-point range, I think that would be something that's really significant.
Is he still a member of the Calgary Flames by the end of the season?
When Jonathan Huberdeau signed his contract for $10.5 million annual average value, and that extended out for a long period of time, that essentially makes him immovable. And when you look at where his productivity is vis-a-vis the AAV, no, there's not a possibility in the world that I see where Jonathan Huberdeau moves outside of Calgary and beyond the Calgary Flames. Maybe if he had 1 year left on his contract to that number, you take back some money, you look at an opportunity for another team to take it on, but not with that much term left on the contract, and certainly not at that dollars. And back to the first question, he is what he is. $10.5 million for a 60-65-point player does not equate.
Ooh, Uncle Button, always with the honesty, always with the fire. He throws punches, and we're here to sit back and enjoy, okay? I have nothing to add. Other than Craig Button, thanks for joining us. We're going to see you again next week to play this game once again.
It's always a pleasure. Can't wait till the next time.
Time now for our newest segment, M&M's Huddle. Hi. So let's huddle with our home team and dive deep into this weekend's NFL slate. And today we're going to focus on two teams that are playing must-win games. And that's the Bengals and the Jags. Because in the Super Bowl era, 255 teams have started 0-3, and only 6 of them have gone on to make the playoffs. So yeah, based off of that stat, the 0-3 Bengals and 0-3 Jags both might already be done. The last 0-3 team to make the playoffs was the 2018 Texans. But one thing that could be working in both teams' favor is that stat is based off of teams that mostly played a 16-game schedule. But the new format doesn't fare much better. Since the 14-team playoff was introduced in 2020, only 2 teams that have started 0-2 have gone on to make the playoffs. But yeah, much smaller sample size. And working in Cincy's favor, one of those teams was the 2022 Bengals. But that's 0-2 and not 0-3. And a loss this weekend means the Bengals would be 0-4 and pretty much done. Arguably though, they could have beaten the Chiefs, who are the class of the league. And if their defense could have gotten one stop, they probably could have beaten the Commanders. As for the Jags, it looks like they're done with no shot to make the playoffs, especially after what Josh Allen did to them Monday night. And we got more bad news for the Jags, as they will once again be without tight end Evan Ingram, who was ruled out this morning. And while Cincy enters the week as a big favorite, the Jags are big dogs against the Texans. But the way this year has gone, does that even really mean anything? As the biggest favorites in weeks 1, 2, and 3, all lost the games outright. So yeah, dogs are barking. CTV and TSN have you covered with a plethora of great games this weekend. Sunday we've got the Packers and Vikings to start the day on CTV, followed by the Chiefs and Chargers. Then the main event at 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific. It's the Bills and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. And you can watch that one on TSN and CTV. And if you're looking for even more NFL content, you can head to TSN's YouTube page right now. Or like when you finish the show, if you're using this device, or if you want to dual screen it, you can do that. To watch the latest episode of Broken Table. As every Friday, Aaron Korolnik, Stevie Johnson, Takia Singh, and Christopher Hine are talking all things NFL. So head to TSN's YouTube page to watch it, or if you're watching on Insta, you can just click the link below. I personally enjoy Christopher Hine's Streeter segments, okay? You can really see him shine in those moments, like he's living for this. The hockey world saw one of its most heartwarming moments yesterday, as fans celebrated alongside Kenya, who learned they were officially voted into the double IIHF. The reaction of Kenya's representatives were priceless. Let's take a listen.
We're in, people! 103! Wow.
Congratulations to Kenya. I believe Kenya is.
I absolutely love that. Big reaction, then immediately back to business. It's been a long time coming for Kenyan hockey, as they've been hoping for this news since 2020. But their interest in hockey goes back even further. Kenya's national team, known as the Ice Lions, play out of the Solar Ice Rink in Nairobi, Kenya, a rink that was originally opened in 2005. By 2019, the Lions were a full-fledged hockey team, but had no one to play as they were the only team in all of Kenya. And that brought them to Canada, where they met up with NHL stars Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon, as well as some members of the Bar Down team. And on their stop in Canada, we spoke with their then captain about his love of hockey, and in true Bar Down fashion, we taught him some hockey slang.
Yeah, sure. Oh, Gino. I scored a Gino today. Yeah. Apple. I scored one Gino and added an apple. Wow. Meat wagon. I played with someone who was a meat wagon. No. So if I'm a loser, I'm a duster. Bad. I'd love you to be my bud one day. Bad down? Oh, the crossband then down. I went bow down.
Aw, I'd love you to be my bud one day too. Kenya being voted into the double IIHF is a touching reminder of how big of a reach this sport of hockey really has. And it's just the beginning for Team Kenya, as they'll now try to qualify for their first double IIHF World Championship in their nation's history. Okay, this is an interview I'm very excited about, as the America's Cup is just around the corner. Now joined by Isabella Berthold, who's a member of Canada's America's Cup team.
Thank you so much for having me, Marissa.
So happy to have you, as Team Canada is making history, taking part in the first ever Women's America's Cup. So my first question is, what the heck took so long?
Yeah, I think it took 173 years for this to finally happen. So yeah, it really is a historic event for women's sailing and women's sport as well. And I know we're definitely, I think, inspired by the big wave of gender equity across all sports. And so we're excited to be joining along.
How do you think this event will impact the future of women's sailing?
Yeah, I'm personally very optimistic. I think it's gonna two sort of big immediate impacts on the professional side. The first one is, imagine walking into a job interview knowing that you're qualified, but somebody says, well, you have no experience. And so really that's the first one. Female sailors are now going to actually have the experience that they need. And the second side is, I really do believe we're going to see more women up at leadership roles in the men's teams. And as we know, more female voices at a leadership level is a trickle-down effect.
Now we're going to play a little game we love here at Bar Down and TSN called Blind Rankings. I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you. You don't know what's coming next. You have to rank them 1 through 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. Are you ready?
Okay. Uh-oh.
Okay, the theme of this one is things you'd be afraid of in the ocean.
Ooh, many. Okay.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Sharks.
1.
Oh, wow. You don't even know what's coming next. You put shark at 1. Dang. Okay, here we go. White squall.
Ooh. 3.
Okay, 3. Orca.
5.
Ooh, all right, at the bottom. You got 2 and 4 left. Being lost at sea.
2.
Figured that one would be high. I might rank that number 1 for me. All you got left is 4, so that's where this one is going. Pirates.
Yeah, I'd say that's 4. That's fair. I think that's accurate.
If pirates come, you could take them.
Yeah, I mean, it could be friendly pirates, like from Pirates of the Caribbean, like Johnny Depp showing up wouldn't be the worst, but
yeah, sure. We'll assume it's Johnny or Orlando Bloom or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much for your time, Isabella. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Time now for the CFL Preview, powered by Fanduel. And we've got a pair of great games tonight on Friday Night Football, as the Bombers host the Elks and the Lions host the Ticats. Let's start by looking at that early game, as the Bombers are 4.5-point favorites against Edmonton. These two teams played 6 days ago, and the Bombers won by 13. And with just 5 weeks left in the season, if the Elks are going to make a run at the playoffs, it pretty much needs to start now. As for Winnipeg, a win tonight against Edmonton, and they've officially punched their ticket for the postseason. That's pretty much inevitable. But a loss tonight opens things up for BC in the division, as the Lions are just a game behind the Bombers. And BC are laying 6.5 at home against Edmonton. You can watch this doubleheader of CFL action tonight on TSN. And the fun doesn't stop there, as tomorrow it's the CFL on CTV, as my Riders host the Red Blacks. So, wear green. That's it for me today with Syrup Pick on Monday. Have a good weekend.